This is a text that says, no, and then I'm horny, and then come over.
That is true. I did send those messages.
Oh, you did?
Yes, I
But
did.
he's a married man.
Hold on.
It actually happened during labor, Your Honor. I was in the hospital sitting across from Kayla as she was pushing this baby out.
I have text messages proof right here of the most recent is Valentine's Day. She went to another man's house.
Because of this game that she and I like to play, that she likes to play.
You 46-year-old married man, Mr. Hartfield. What game are you playing with a 22-year-old girl?
And I received a text from a guy telling me to leave the hospital because that's his baby and he needs to be there.
What?
I am in labor.
Well, that's because you didn't even get me anything, and you were just yelling at me. You were treating me like crap and was gonna go to a friend's house.
All right, strap in, folks. Mr. Benning drops a bomb right off the bat, sharing his shaky feels about whether his toddlers, 2-year-old Robin and baby Jermaine Jr., are actually his. He's hoping they are, but thanks to some naughty shenanigans from the defendant, he's got a storm cloud of doubt hanging over him. You'll want to stick around because the drama is just getting started.
Mr. Benning, you recently appeared in couples court and it was confirmed that the defendant cheated on you. This infidelity has caused questions regarding your 2-year-old daughter, Robin, and 6-month-old son, Jermaine Jr.'s paternity. Although you are hopeful that both are your children.
His daughter, Woa. This part's a tearjerker. Mr. Benning gets all mushy, talking about his daughter, Robin, who he reckons is the spitting image of his mom, who passed away when he was just a kid. It's all about family feels and promises, folks. And oh, the next bit? It's a doozy.
First off, Your Honor, my mother passed away when I was 14 years old. She was my best friend. We spent every waking moment together. After she died, it, left me hurt. I always wanted a daughter, and I promised I was going to take care of her and treat her like my mother took care of me.
Oh, that's
so
wonderful.
I've always stuck by with that.
So having a daughter has been so important to you.
I waited.
Hold the phone. Get this. While Ms. Bodine is busy pushing out a baby, Mr. Benning's phone blows up with a text from another dude claiming he's the real daddy. Talk about bad timing. It's a real soap opera scene. And trust me, you don't want to miss what happens next.
It actually happened during labor, Your Honor. I was in the hospital sitting across from Kayla as she was pushing this baby out. And I received a text from a guy telling me to leave the hospital because that's his baby and he needs to be there.
What?
I am in labor, like literally in the hospital. And I received a text telling me that the child that I'm waiting to come isn't mine.
Just when you think it couldn't get more tangled, Ms. Bodine has already done a secret paternity test on the side dude, who's not the dad. Plot twist. The court's all ears, and so should you be because the plot thickens from here.
How do you know this other guy is not the biological father?
Because, Your Honor, I stood up, did the woman and the mother thing I had to do, and got the other guy tested.
Oh. And you submitted those results to the court?
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
All right. The probability of paternity between you and this other guy is 0%.
Yes.
Buckle up, Buttercup.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Benning, you are not the father.
What the?
All right, grab your popcorn, because here comes the big news drop. The court reveals they have retested Mr. Jackson and are ready to disclose the results. Judge Lake announces that the DNA results have been prepared by DNA Diagnostics, creating a moment of high tension and anticipation in the courtroom. Everyone's on the edge of their seat. What's coming up will definitely raise some eyebrows.
Well, this court has retested Mr. Jackson. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics and they read as follows. In the case of Downing versus Jones, when it comes to 29-year-old Brittany Stark, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Jackson is not the father.
Cue the dramatic entrance music for Mr. Aiken. Mr. Aiken joins the court via video link from his hometown, introducing another potential father into the narrative. He confidently states his belief that he is Brittany's biological father, based on her resemblance to his family and her interactions with them. Buckle up, things are about to get even more tangled.
I do believe I'm Brittany's biological father. That she came down and visited my mom, she met my other kids, and she resembled everything. I mean, she is me. It was a high school thing, back then it was one of those things when you just meet somebody you like them and experimental as we was younger, and it's one of those things that happened and I guess this is the results.
Did someone say curveball? Mr. Downing expresses his surprise and frustration upon learning about Mr. Aiken only a week ago, highlighting the complexity and emotional weight of the case. He is visibly upset about the evolving situation, feeling misled by the lack of transparency from Ms. Jones. The next revelation's just around the corner, and trust me, it's a doozy.
So, Mr. Downing, when did you first hear about Mr. Aiken?
Last week. In a phone conversation with Miss Jones, we were talking. She told me that, well, there may be a third person that, could possibly be her father. And I'm like, wow, third guy? She said it didn't have to go this far. She could have been honest in the beginning and say, hey, look, I don't know who the daddy is, but let's all get together and let's figure this thing out for Brittany's sake.
Just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water, nope, the final DNA result.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Aiken, you are not the father.
Wow.
You're not going to believe this. Ms. Davis steps up with a claim that she got knocked up by Mr. Ham after a mere 2 months of knowing him. She's also thrown in a lawsuit for $1,500 for some baby shower gifts she says Mr. Ham swiped from her. Strap in, because this is just the tip of the iceberg.
Ms. Davis, you claim you got pregnant with Mr. Ham's child after knowing him for only 2 months. You've petitioned the court for a DNA test to prove that Mr. Ham is the father of your 1-month-old baby, Jarrell Ham Jr. You're suing him for $1,500 for the cost of the baby shower gifts that you say Mr. Ham took from you.
Hold on to your popcorn, folks. Mr. Ham is adamant he's not the daddy, pointing fingers at Ms. Davis for playing the field during their fling. He spills the tea on their first meet, which sounds more like a tailgate party than a romantic date, with a crowd and all at their planned quiet spot by the lake. Oh, and it only gets juicier from here.
Now, Mr. Ham, you say Ms. Davis was dating 2 other men, and you are certain that you are not the father of her child. How can you be so sure this child is not yours?
I was in my car, just came from getting a haircut. I was looking good in my car. Me and Brittany has the same exact car, just different colors. She was looking pretty, too, I'm not gonna lie. She flagged me down to stop me so we can switch numbers.
Get this, Mr. Ham drops a bombshell about Ms. Davis still being married, on top of juggling a couple of boyfriends. He lays out their casual hookups with a side of skepticism about being the father, given the crowded field. Fasten your seatbelts. The roller coaster's about to drop.
So, it's your testimony, Mr. Ham, she had more than one boyfriend.
Yes, she's married too, and she's still technically married now. She's not divorced now, she's still technically married. And she had 2 boyfriends too. So this is why I'm in a point where this can't really be my child, due to the fact she had all these boyfriends, and then at the end of the day, I come found she's married too. So I don't know what to believe.
Just when you think it couldn't get wilder, Ms. Davis talks about the moment she found out she was pregnant and how she broke the news to Mr. Ham, who seemed cool with it at first. But as the doubts crept in, the support started to crumble. Watch out for what's next. It's a doozy.
I'm at work throwing up, sick. Couldn't take it, so I asked my supervisor, can I go to the hospital? I'm thinking I had food poisoning or something, and I was pregnant.
After you found out you were pregnant, how did you tell Mr. Ham?
I called his phone and told him I was pregnant. He was at work. I went to his job, and man was talking about it. He was happy, excited.
So you felt like his reaction was that of excitement?
He was gonna be there.
Talk about a clash of titans. The courtroom turns into a battlefield as accusations fly and tensions boil over. Ms. Davis details the rocky aftermath of her pregnancy reveal, shedding light on their shaky relationship foundation. And guess what? It's about to escalate even more.
So tell me why you doubt it.
Well, me and her argued. She told in front of my mother and auntie that this was not my child when the child was 4 weeks old.
I never did that.
She told this, and the second time when we was arguing in front of her at her mother's house.
To you out of anger. Out of anger, yes, your Honor, I did say that twice.
And then the second time
we argued, he make me mad. I'm like, you know.
All right.
And then there was the baby shower showdown. Ms. Davis accuses Mr. Ham of hijacking all the baby goodies, which leads to a heated debate about gift ownership and parental responsibility. The drama intensifies here, folks, and you'll want to see how this pans out.
The baby shower, I did not even want until after the baby was here, until I found out it was mine. She went behind my back and talked to my family after I told her not to even distance.
But at some point, you had a baby shower.
Due to the fact that she talked my family into it.
I never had.
I got into it with my
family. Ms. Davis, did you talk?
No, I did not. I didn't even know they were throwing me the baby shower. They begged me to come to the baby shower.
Talk about a plot twist. Judge Lake steps in and rules in favor of Ms. Davis, ordering Mr. Ham to cough up $1,500 or return the stolen baby loot. This ruling underscores that once a gift is given, it's no takesies backsies. Brace yourselves. The DNA results are next, and they're a real game changer.
But to rule in favor of the plaintiff for $1,500 because those gifts belong to, you need to return the gifts? Or you need to give her $1,500, which is the value of the gifts because you testified that that was the value, whether or not you're the child's father. The law is the law.
Here comes the bombshell. Mr. Hartfield spills the beans about his fling and straight up denies being the baby daddy. He claims Ms. Streeter was also playing the field, which makes him doubt the kiddo is his. The judge lays out the stakes for Mr. Hartfield's marriage based on today's drama. Brace yourself. It's about to get even juicier.
Mr. Hartfield, you say you made a mistake by having an affair, but you know you are not father of Ms. Streeter's child, you claim that Ms. Streeter was openly sleeping with other men besides you. Today's results will determine whether or not you'll be able to save your marriage.
You're not gonna believe this. Miss Streeter dishes out how she and Mr. Hartfield planned to have a baby together, painting a picture of a cozy future that now looks nothing but messy in hindsight. Their plan contrasts big time with his courtroom denial. Get ready, the next bit is a real kicker.
Mr. Hartfield asked me to have a baby with him. We were dating for about 8 months, a long time. We were in a relationship. He wanted to have a baby. He said he didn't get to raise any of his. We went to the hospital and we got the birth control taken out together.
She tell me a whole lot of lies. That's convincing. I mean, if I didn't know any better, I'd be convinced.
What is true?
That's definitely not the truth. We went in and took a...
Oh snap, the plot thickens. During a fiery exchange, Mr. Hartfield admits he was paying Mrs. Streeter to keep their secret from his wife, showing just how sneaky he's been. The stakes are high and the lies are flying left and right. Up next, watch how this unfolds into even more of a soap opera.
If I'm lying, then how would she have information to call my wife when I was paying her not to tell my wife about the situation?
Our first time having sex, we went
because
down the
I did
street
not
from
pay
his
the
house
rent.
to a hotel.
She called her.
He's lying. He had ended up telling me a relative's name, and I had went on Facebook and found the relative, and I didn't even call her right away because he had told me like them pictures are old. She's professional.
Hold on to your popcorn, folks. Mr. Hartfield fesses up to sending those racy texts to Ms. Streeter, trying to brush it off as just some weird game they play. It's a big reveal that shows he's still playing field, even in the middle of a legal showdown. Things are about to get even more tangled in the next scene.
This is a text that says no, and then I'm horny, and then come over.
That is true. I did send those messages.
Oh, you did?
Yes, I
But
did.
he's a married man.
Hold on. Because of this game that she and I like to play, that she likes to play. But I'm telling you, that is not true.
You 46-year-old married man, Mr. Hartfield. What game are you playing with a 22-year-old girl?
Did he really just say that? According to Ms. Streeter, Mr. Hartfield was all in when he found out about the pregnancy, showing a side of him that's all about family, or so he made it seem. But in court, he's singing a whole different tune. Keep watching. The surprises just don't stop.
He was excited. He wanted a baby. That was the whole point.
This is the situation. Dominique deals with so many guys. She found one that was an older guy, and she thought that I would be, the thing is that she found out, hey, you're dealing with a guy that ain't got no money, so now you waste your time.
That's not true.
Because you done wasted so much time telling people that he's your baby's father, that now you got to play the role.
Game changer coming through. The story shifts to the birth of the baby, with Ms. Streeter recounting how Mr. Hartfield was there, all excited, yet later he bailed on signing the birth certificate. It's a roller coaster of emotions and legal drama. What happens next will make your jaw drop.
He was there when the baby was born. He was excited, like, you know, this my baby, this my boy. I never got to see none of my kids born. I want to be with you. I tried to get him to sign the birth certificate. The reason why he signed it at first, but it was time for the witness to see us. He like, you too anxious about me signing this birth certificate. You know what, miss, take my name off. Talking to the witness, be on the birth certificate.
So first he signed the birth certificate.
He thought it couldn't get more twisted? Mrs. Streeter drops another bomb. Mr. Hartfield wasn't just juggling her. He had a whole lineup of ladies. This guy's love life is busier than a subway at rush hour, undermining everything he said so far. Wait till you see what's coming. It's a doozy.
He had more girlfriends than he was talking to me. When I first met him, he had a lot of women he talked to.
Of course.
It was so not only was it me, it was other people.
Let the truth come out. That's exactly what I said.
I have my own place. I'm a man. I'm standing on my own 2 feet. I never had a relationship with her.
You felt like he was living with you when he was sleeping with her.
Yes.
And you didn't know about this other place.
I did not know about the other place.
And now, the moment of truth. The judge finally reads the DNA results, and guess what?
Mr. Hartfield, you are the father.
Buckle up, folks. Ms. Holshoe steps up to the plate, claiming she's here to prove that the defendant's father is her biological dad. She's not just throwing darts in the dark. She's got her game face on and is ready to swing. Let's see how this unfolds. It's just getting juicy.
Ms. Holshoe, you claim your mother had an affair with the defendant's father, and today you're in court to prove that he is your biological father.
Here comes the mudslinging. Ms. Howard and her squad tag Ms. Holshoe as a major drama queen, claiming her mom wreaked havoc on their family portrait. It's a zinger that sets the tone for some family feud vibes. Hang tight, the tea is about to spill.
My mother and Mr. Howard both told me that he was my father, and also family members on his side of the family. And also I'm in the obituary as his daughter.
That was a big mistake that her name was put into the obituary. Our father's sister did that.
No.
And did not tell any of us about it. Our father didn't even mention her.
Plot twist alert! Ms. Holshoe drops a bombshell about her terminal cancer and her quest for a family history down download. It's serious stuff, but she's here not just for answers, but perhaps for some sibling solidarity too. Watch out for the next clip. It's a doozy.
I had a relationship with Mr. Howard through the years after I found out that he was my father. And the only reason I'm even wanting to know that he is my father is because I've recently learned that I have terminal cancer, and I'd like to have family history. And I also, which I know they don't want to, but I would also like to have some sort of information from them about him.
Whoa, curveball from the old family buddy. He's chiming in to say Ms. Holshoe might not be part of the Howard ensemble after all. It's adding layers to this family mystery pie. What's next? More bombshells, guaranteed.
Our father was with us every weekend.
She's just coming in like a big old bulldozer.
My maintenance man in my building was my father's childhood friend.
He and I had a chat recently, and we chatted for quite some time. I do know that she thinks that she's our sister, so I asked him, and he said no.
You never heard any rumors about your father cheating?
When we got older.
Right.
When we were
As
older.
teenagers.
Right.
Flashback time. Ms. Holshoe reminisces about crashing a family reunion like a surprise guest at a wedding. The confrontation she describes is straight out of a reality TV show, complete with booing and hissing. Strap in, the roller coaster is about to go off the rails.
Miss Holshoe, did you actually go to the family reunion?
Your Honor, my first husband and I went there. We walked into the pavilion and sat down with DL and started talking to him, and I don't remember which women it was, but chased me out, calling me all these nasty names. They wanted to beat me up.
She's lying.
Oh my God.
I heard this.
Wow.
Moment of truth time.
It has been determined by this court that the probability of half-siblingship between Diana Howard and Misty Lynn Holshoe is 98.1%.
Buckle up, folks. The case of White v. White kicks off with Mrs. White dragging her husband to court to prove he's daddy to 3-year-old Savannah. She's hoping a DNA test will patch things up after a bit of cheating. Oh, and by a bit, I mean a lot. Just wait till you hear what her hubby thinks about all this.
Ms. White, you've opened your case because your last and only way to save your marriage and family is to prove to your husband that he fathered your 3-year-old daughter, Savannah. You admit you've cheated in the past, but hope once the results are revealed, your husband will trust you again.
Here comes the bombshell. Mr. White is throwing the country, throwing around some serious claims about not being the kiddo's bio dad, and is even talking divorce if the test shows he's right. He loves the little tyke, but is fed up with the marital circus. Let's see how deep this rabbit hole goes.
Mr. White, you claim to have physical proof your wife broke her vows, and as much as you love Savannah, you do not believe you're her biological father and are prepared to divorce your wife when the test proves your case.
You're not gonna believe this. Mr. White started getting suspicious after the neighbors spotted an ex-boyfriend visiting his house. Little Facebook stalking, some late-night confrontations later, he's pretty sure he's not just being paranoid. Mrs. White's got some explaining to do, and it's gonna be juicy.
I had the suspicions she was having an ex-boyfriend come over while I was at work, because I had the neighbors tell me he was coming over, and then I started doing the snooping on Facebook, seeing where his location was, looking through her phone, and then he showed up, and that's when I knew there was something happening. Why would you call him if we're arguing?
Hold on to your popcorn, because here it comes. Mrs. White admits she started cheating a hot minute after they got hitched. She blames a lack of cuddles and hand-holding, but honestly, it sounds like she's been busier than a one-toothed man in a corn-on-the-cob eating contest. Next up, she tries to win back Mr. Right.
A week after you got married?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. White, have you been cheating?
Yes, but I have like abandonment issues because I was adopted. So like if he's not showing me the love and affection that I need, but I just want him to like show me love and affection and be there for me and like hold my hand in public and just be there.
Strap in for more drama. Mrs. White wants to turn things around with their anniversary around the corner. She's dead sure her husband is the father and hopes proving it will stop their marriage from imploding. But wait till you see the evidence Mr. White's about to drop.
Yes, our anniversary is in 2 days. I want to make this right so we can better our marriage and just prove that Savannah is his.
You are certain Savannah is your husband's biological child?
Yes, Your Honor. I moved in with them after a month of being together, and then probably 8 months later, I ended up getting pregnant with our first child. We ended up getting married. Everything just happened.
Just when you thought it was safe to go back in the water, bam! Mr. White pulls out texts and posts that show Mrs. White hasn't quite been the model wife. These aren't just flirty texts. They're the whole 9 yards of naughtiness. And boy, does it kick off a storm.
I have text messages proof right here of the most recent is Valentine's Day. She went to another man's house while I'm sitting at the house with the kids.
Well, that's because you didn't even get me anything, and you you were just yelling at me. You were treating me like crap and was gonna go to a friend's house.
Because you were saying you were going to a park at 9 o'clock at night.
It's about to get real soppy in here. Mr. White spills his guts about how much he loves his kids and the agony of his wife's cheating. It's a soap opera level plot twist, and your heart's gonna break for the guy. But hold up, Mrs. White isn't done shocking us yet.
She aspirates, so when she drinks, she has to have it thickened, or half of it will go into her lungs and she'll get pneumonia. Difficulties than my other children. I just love her, I can't, but she won't let me leave. I've literally tried to physically leave, and she has stood in front of the car to where I couldn't leave, or she says, I'm gonna call the cops and tell them you hit me.
What?
Get ready for the grand finale.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. White, you are her father.
First of all, why would I have sex while my daughter was in the ride with me? The chair moves. Come on. I'm not that dumb.
Yeah, let me get my point straight. Then why did my 7-year-old daughter come tell me straight to my face that you're jumping up and down some dude's lap?
I was told that her ex was in the bed.
While you're out fishing?
Yes.
Who told you that?
A family member.
How would they know who I had in my bed?
They seen him.
Yeah, coming out of the house because you and him are friends, and you know
That's not her.
everything.
That's not
you
him.
know that he was at my house,
It is
even
not
when
him.
you were
I'm
there
not talking
too.
about him.
She gave me, actually I have a list of men. It's about 6 or 7 guys.
67?
About 6 or 7.
I said, wait a minute now. She gave you 6 or 7 names.
Yes, Your Honor.
Of possible fathers.
Yes, Your Honor. One of them, we had to do a DNA test, and turned out he wasn't my father.
This revelation sets the stage for a tense hearing. Mr. Connor is up in arms, convinced he's not the daddy of the child in question, highlighting how this mix-up has turned his life and wallet upside down, including a stint behind bars for missing child support payments. But wait, there's more! Ms. Wallace's clapback is just a moment away.
Mr. Connor, you say a one-time fling with the defendant turned into more than 15 years of child support payments and even jail time for a child you have never believed is yours. You need today's results to prove you are not her child's father.
The plot thickens. Emotions start to boil as Mr. Wallace admits his trust in his mom, but can't shake the doubts recent actions by Mr. Connor have stirred up. Mr. Connor lays it all out, detailing the injustices he feels he suffered, ramping up the emotional intensity of the hearing. And guess what? It only gets juicier from here.
Mr. Wallace, you say you trust your mother, but acknowledge Mr. Connor's recent actions have given you doubt. Mr. Connor.
Today's results are so important, Your Honor, because I need to undo a terrible injustice that's been inflicted upon me and my family. It's caused a lot of problems, financially especially.
Yikes. Talk about a tough break. Mr. Connor paints a grim picture of his financial woes and the domino effect of his jail time due to unpaid child support, including losing his home and job. This saga has seriously shaken up his life, but keep your eyes peeled because the confrontation that's coming up next is a doozy.
It's times when I can't afford things. I've even been to jail. 2005, November the 5th until January 2006. There was no home for me to go to. I lost my car, I lost my job. I was 36 years old. I had to start all over. It's making my character look real bad, Your Honor. Know for a fact that she know he's not mine.
Fasten your seatbelts. It's getting bumpy. A fiery exchange erupts where Ms. Wallace accuses Mr. Connor of trying to dodge child support while he vehemently denies being the father. The courtroom is charged with emotional accusations and finger-pointing about responsibilities and past actions. And trust me, the tension is far from over.
Your Honor, he just wants off child support. For one, it was more than just a one-night fling.
You know Jeffrey isn't my child, and I have you on Facebook.
Well,
Doesn't mean.
You can quit pointing your fingers because I'm an adult.
No, you're not. What kind
I'm
of adult?
42 years old. I raised my 3 kids by myself.
You won't believe your ears. Mr. Connor swears the encounter with Ms. Wallace was a brief fling that definitely didn't lead to conception, challenging the story she's been telling. He's adamant it was a one-and-done deal. But hold on, because Ms. Wallace's memory of events paints a whole other picture.
Can you tell me about that? Do you remember this relationship, encounter?
There wasn't a relationship. I met her through a family member. We all used to hang out a little bit here or there in the fall. We came together one time, and up on penetration, she changed her mind, and that was that. I never knew anything about Jeffrey.
This twist might just make your jaw drop, contrasting sharply with Mr. Connor's version. Ms. Wallace reminisces about what she remembers as a year year-long romance filled with plenty of encounters, complicating the story even further. She even brings up the moment she found out she was expecting. And just when you thought it couldn't get any more tangled, the explosive confrontation that follows will have you on the edge of your seat.
Remember him and I being in a whole year relationship, and we had sex numerous of times, Your Honor. And he did know. Well, I got sick. How I found out that I was pregnant. I got sick. My mom taking me to my doctor's appointment, and that's when I found out I was 2 months pregnant. I called you and I told you. Back then we had pagers. Shut your lying butt up.
The drama doesn't stop. As the hearing unfolds, we dive into the nitty-gritty of Mr. Connor's sparse interactions with Jeffrey and the ongoing squabbles over paternity and child support. This segment lays bare the complex personal and legal entanglements involved. Keep watching, because the bombshell verdict up next will have you saying, no way.
And you agree to that, Miss Wallace?
Yes, ma'am.
That
Yes,
happened.
Your Honor.
And
Yes.
during the time from 3 to 4 months, 5 years old, did you all ever have conversations about Jeffrey at all?
Yes, me and her had a
He
couple
told
of
me that he wanted to be in his son's life. I told him I did not want to be in a relationship with him. You know,
You're a professional liar.
Here it comes, the big reveal everyone's been waiting for.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Connor, you are not the father.
I already knew it.
Judge Lake dives into the drama, chatting up Ms. Brown, who's suing her mama for a cool $2,200 because, get this, she doesn't know who her daddy. The courts sniffed around and found a dude who might be Pops. And now, they're all about figuring out if they should send him for a paternity test.
Ms. Brown, you're here today suing your mother for $2,200 for emotional distress. You say she's caused you by not knowing who your biological father is.
Yes,
now, the
Mom.
court has located one possible father and must determine if there is enough evidence to order a paternity test.
Ms. Brown spills it all about taking her mom to court, saying it stings less than her wonky childhood. She throws some serious shade at her mom for playing peekaboo, basically never being around and keeping dad's identity a big ol' secret despite her constant nagging.
So, Ms. Brown, how does it feel to be suing your mother?
Not as bad as it felt growing up. My mom she wasn't there as much as she should have been there. I asked her on several occasions, do you know who my father could be? My mama just said, I don't know. Every time I asked, it was, I don't know. She gave me, actually, I have a list of men. It's about 6 or 7 guys.
Ms. Brown brings out a list, yeah, a literal list of 6 or 7 potential daddies. Plot twist, one guy already flunked the dad test, DNA test, that is. They're zeroing in on Mr. Clifton Smith, who's also in the courtroom, sweating bullets probably because he hasn't been tested yet.
She gave you 6 or 7 names of possible fathers.
Yes, Your Honor.
Are they ranked in order of probability?
No, ma'am, they're not, Your Honor. One of them, we had to do a DNA test. Turned out he wasn't my father.
And is he listed on this?
Yes, ma'am.
Which one is he?
He's the first one.
The man in the Navy, Lee.
Yes, Your Honor.
Not the father, proven by a DNA test.
Shantia lays it all out about how rough her life's been, from bouncing around foster homes to quitting school to nurse her sick grandma. This whole not knowing dad business really did a number on her.
I was in and out of foster care on 3 different occasions. Foster care wasn't so good, you know. I had 4 brothers and a sister. I didn't know where they were. They got split up too. My grandmother got us back. She got sick. I missed 3 months of school. I was in alternative school. I got kicked out because my grandma got sick and I had to take care of her.
Mom, Yolinda Overstreet, gets back with some real talk about her struggles with the mom gig. She admits she was pretty much winging it, overwhelmed by raising 6 kids and just not nailing it.
Ms. Brown Overstreet, how does it feel to hear your daughter speak with such pain in her heart?
I feel like my daughter hates me because of the fact that I wasn't always there and I didn't have a handbook on how to be a parent. I had my kids young and it was 6, I have 6 of them. So it wasn't like it was just one child. I had a hard time trying to be a mother. I didn't know how to raise my kids, and when I lost custody of them, I tried my best to get them back.
He waltzes into the courtroom and shares a wild first encounter with Ms. Brown, thinking she might be his daughter and all that jazz. Despite the mix-up, he's all heart, hoping he's the dad.
We go back a long time. So when I called her, she was like that she was trying to find the father of our daughter. I said, wouldn't it be funny if I was the father? And she was like, oh yeah, I forgot all about you. So when I pulled up, I get out the car and my cousin pointed her out. So I was looking at her. So she came up and I said something to her first and she was smiling at me like I was trying to flirt with her or something. So I'm like, yo, whoa, hold up here. I might be your father. You busy trying to flirt with me.
Mr. Smith tells a tale of a gnarly injury that had doctors saying he might never be a dad. So the plot thickens with whether this guy could even be the father. The court calls in a doc to drop some science on us.
Okay, my reason is when I was 10 years old, I hurt myself really bad. Well, I was folding it back into a couch. My underwear got hooked on a spring and I yanked it, but it went in a lot more of my underwear and just ripped everything open.
Oh, goodness. That was the problem. It was horrible. So I didn't remember even having sex with him. So it wasn't my fault that I didn't remember. He probably remembered it, but I didn't remember it.
Dr. Gator, cool as a cucumber, explains how Mr. Smith might still shoot and score as a dad despite his earlier mishap, thanks to how nature works. Looks like the court's all set to make Mr. Smith take the Big Daddy test.
It's absolutely possible, in my opinion, for Mr. Smith or someone with a testicular injury such as him to father a child. On average, a man releases anywhere between 50 million and 1 billion sperm at a time. So based on the numbers, it's definitely possible for someone with a testicular injury to still father a child as long as the swimmers are normal and healthy.
DNA results are in, and guess what?
It has been determined by this court, Mr. Smith, you are not Shantia's father. I'm sorry.
Ms. Hernandez drops a bombshell that her estranged hubby started denying their 3-year-old munchkin, Ligana, only after eyeing a younger chick. This accusation frames the emotional and legal stakes of the proceedings.
Ms. Hernandez, 4 years ago, you met and then married your much younger but seemingly perfect man. You say your estranged husband started denying you and your now 3-year-old daughter, Liana, only after he found another younger woman.
Mr. Hernandez claps back with an accusation of his own, claiming Ms. Hernandez played house with other men while he was off playing sailor on a fishing boat. This introduces the core conflict regarding the paternity of Ligana and their crumbling trust.
Mr. Hernandez, you claim that during the marriage you often spent weeks at a time on a fishing boat for work, only to find out upon returning home that your wife had other men in and out of your house while you were at sea. You and your girlfriend are here to prove Liana is not yours.
We find out Ligana is 3 and missing her daddy big time, which highlights the emotional toll this mess is taking on her.
It's heartbreaking. It's hard for me to put my daughter down to sleep. All she does is says, dad, 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 all day.
How old is she?
She's 3. She'll be 4 in December.
But the man you believe is her biological father is denying her.
Yes. I don't know what to tell her, Your Honor.
Do you know that this young child is calling out for you, Mr. Hernandez?
No, Your Honor.
We dive into how Ms. Hernandez met Mr. Hernandez, showing us the start of their whirlwind that quickly went from sweet to sour.
How did you all even meet?
I was at a friend of mine's house. He comes up about an hour later walking up to my friend's house.
Okay, so he came over your friend's house.
Yes.
And you met him.
Yes.
Did you immediately hit it off?
Yes.
So Mr. Hernandez, you liked her, she liked you, you all started a relationship.
Yes.
Later on got married.
2 years later.
So you got married 2 years later.
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez starts doubting baby Ligana is his, all thanks to neighborhood gossip about Ms. Hernandez's ex snooping around their home while he was away.
I was told that her ex was in the bed.
While you're out fishing?
Yes.
Who told you that?
A family member.
A family member of yours or hers?
Mine.
How would they know who I had in my bed?
They seen him.
Yeah, coming out of the house because you and him are friends. And you know
That's not her.
everything.
That's not
You
him.
know that he was at my house
It is
even
not
when
him.
you were
I'm
there
not talking
too.
about him.
The hospital scene turns into a reality show when family members allegedly tell Mr. Hernandez he's not the father right after Ligana's birth.
What happened at the birth?
2 family members came to the hospital and told me that's not my kid.
Which family members of whom?
Hers.
Hers?
Who?
Your mother.
Your mom? Oh, wait.
Because my mama doesn't like you.
Okay then.
They argue over why Ligana didn't get Mr. Hernandez's last name, suggesting Ms. Hernandez had her doubts from the get-go.
You want her to have your last name.
I literally argued with her at the hospital.
No, you didn't.
Then why did I was gonna sign the paperwork to do it for you on the birth certificate and you said no?
Why did you sign it when you knew I had put her last name as Lamont? You shouldn't have signed it.
Judge Lake calls out the inconsistencies in Ms. Hernandez's tales, making everyone in the courtroom scratch their heads.
This testimony you are giving right now is faulty, right? It is not adding up to me. And I need answers. I need to understand from you. Is there any other possible father for your daughter besides Mr. Hernandez?
No.
The DNA test results are announced.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Hernandez, you are the father.
Told you.
Buckle up, folks. Mr. Nicholas kicks things off with a bombshell, doubting he's the dad to little Naomi and Nathaniel because, well, Mrs. Nicholas has been a bit too social. He lays it all out, accusing her of sneaky shenanigans with just about everyone, from strangers to his office buddies. The crowd's gasping like they're watching a soap opera, and you can almost hear the popcorn crunching. Wait till you hear what's next. It's a doozy.
You have brought your wife to court today. You claim you cannot be the father of 4-year-old Naomi because your wife is a habitual cheater cheater and she cannot be trusted. You say you have shocking evidence of your wife's outrageous sexual infidelity, including encounters with strangers in public places.
You're not gonna believe this one. Mrs. Nicholas steps up, admits she goofed big time, but hey, she's seen the light, found religion, and is ready to turn over a new leaf. She's all about proving Mr. Nicholas is the daddy and fixing this hot mess of a marriage. Her plea has the courtroom holding their breath, wondering what's next. Hold on to your seats because this ride's just getting started.
Mrs. Nicholas, you actually admit you've made some mistakes in your marriage, but you claim you have now turned your life around and you are a church-going woman who deserves another chance. You state that once these DNA tests prove Mr. Nicholas is the father of all of your children, you are hoping to repair your marriage.
Oh boy, here it comes. Mr. Nicholas drops a juicy tidbit about a rather awkward encounter at his sushi job. Picture this. He's slinging sushi rolls when a random dude claims Mrs. Nicholas is turning the bathroom into her personal love den. Stuck at work like a fish out of water, unable to confirm the sordid tale. Just wait, next twist is even wilder.
Let me tell you this first of all. You know, the sushi spot I used to work at, right, is a hot stuff. People come in and then out. Some guy comes up to me and tells me straight up to my face that my wife is performing oral sex in the bathroom. Yeah.
Wait a minute, you're at work, the sushi restaurant, and a guy just comes up to you.
And tells me that she's performing oral sex in the bathroom.
Hold up, rewind.
During your shift, and then you did what?
I continued working. What am I supposed to do? I couldn't leave my job.
Talk about awkward. Mr. Nicholas tells a tale taller than a roller coaster about his wife supposedly getting frisky on a theme park ride while their kiddo was right there. Mrs. Nicholas calls bull, arguing who in their right mind would pull such a stunt with a kid tagging along. The plot thickens, and you just can't make this stuff up. Up next, it's more he said. She said with an extra helping of scandal.
She went into the Transformer rides with my 7-year-old daughter. Tell you that straight up. Tells me straight to my face that my wife was having sex in the ride.
First of all, why would I have sex while my daughter was in the ride with me? And the chair moves. Come on, I'm not that dumb.
Yeah, let me get my point straight. Then why did my 7-year-old daughter come tell me straight to my face that you're jumping up and down some dude's lap?
Here we go again. Mr. Nicholas isn't done yet. He's got more dirt. This time he's dishing about his wife and his pizza place manager cooking up more than just pies behind his back. Mrs. Nicholas admits she was looking for a slice of attention he couldn't serve up. But don't go anywhere because there's more saucy secrets coming up.
For example, the pizza joint I used to work at. She was having an affair with my manager.
Oh, yes, I'm being honest with you. Yes, I did have an affair. On top of that, every time I try to talk to you, you're just not there for me.
Yeah, just because he's been buying you diapers, all that. On
diapers? Yeah, every time I ask you, you just take off. You spend your money on something else. That's what you do.
And then
yeah, because I'm stressed out because
you ask his co-worker to get you some diapers.
Grab your popcorn. This is getting good. Mr. Nicholas, deep in thought, wonders aloud if chatting up another lady about his woes counts as stepping out. The judge lays down the law. Yep, that's emotional cheating, buddy. Mrs. Nicholas owns up to her past flings, hoping to clear the air. You think this is juicy? Just wait till the next part.
Can I ask you one question? Is it cheating if I were to go kick it with another female and just talk to her about my problem? Is that considered
cheating? There's emotional cheating too, Mr. Nicholas.
I know I've been with other guys, but I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I know I messed up in the past. That's past.
Okay, can you please just explain to me what about the dude you slept with that looks dead on just like me?
Oh, I meant that one.
Oh, it just keeps getting not better.
Get ready for a curveball. The spotlight shifts back to the kids. Mrs. Nicholas is dead set on proving these munchkins look just like Mr. Nicholas, hoping it'll squash his doubts once and for all. The tension's through the roof as they duke it out with words, each hoping to clinch the win in this paternity puzzle. Fasten your seatbelts. We're about to dive into the results.
Do the DNA and prove him wrong, because I'm getting tired of hearing him saying that, oh, they're not my kids. Come on, they just look like you.
But so does the other guy you slept with. Do you understand why he potentially, maybe, could have some doubt?
Because I cheated on him, but all the time when I was
the kids don't look like me though.
They look like me, that's why. Come on now.
No, there's got to be a part of it where the kids got to look like me.
And here's the tearjerker finale.
It has been determined, Mr. Nicholas, that you are his father.
Exactly, I told you. God.
Right off the bat, Mr. Johnson spills the beans about his mega doubts concerning his fiance's daughter, Camilla, suspecting she might actually be his fiance's ex's kid. He lays it out clear. If the DNA test proves she isn't his, he's hitting the road. No looking back. Grab some popcorn, because this drama's just heating up.
Mr. Johnson, you claim you are here today with a relationship on the line. Now, you are convinced your fiance's 8-month-old daughter, Camilla, was fathered by her ex-boyfriend and not you. If the DNA results prove your deepest fears are true. You say you plan to leave her and never look back.
Now, Mr. Johnson's talking money. He wants Ms. Quintero to cough up $275 for kiddo expenses. Camilla isn't his. He's been playing daddy, but keeps one eye on the exit just in case. Stick around, things are about to get even juicier.
Mr. Johnson, you're asking the court to award you $275 in back child care expenses. If the results prove Camilla is not your daughter, you'd like Ms. Quintero to pay you back.
Flashback to a rocky romance roller coaster. Mr. Johnson and Ms. Quintero's love saga has more twists than a pretzel. The bombshell drops, she's pregnant, but the timing's all shades of wrong. Mr. Johnson's reeling, and you'll want to see what comes out when they air more dirty laundry.
I say about a year ago, we ended up talking again. She calls me up one day and she's like, hey, I'm gonna go look for some apartment. You should come with. I was a little busy at the time, so I told her no. I got stuff to do, I can't do it. I called her back later and she never picked up. She calls me up on the phone and like, hey, I'm pregnant. I was at my brother's house, we were having a little get together, we're drinking, just having fun. I tell her right away, hey, I gotta call you back.
Court turns into a soap opera as both admit they weren't just playing house with each other during baby making season. Mr. Johnson whips out a calendar, trying to prove he might not be the dad based on the X-File timelines. Buckle up, the next revelations are gonna be wild.
So during the window of conception, did you have sex with Mr. Johnson and your ex?
Yeah.
Mr. Johnson, when was your daughter born?
My daughter was born November 6, 2013.
What are you holding?
I just had a calendar. It just states when Cammie was born. The 2 months at the top is midway when me and Maria started talking in March, and February was the month when she was with her ex.
Workplace chit-chat turns Mr. Johnson's doubts into a full-blown conspiracy theory about Camilla's real dad. He's thinking of ditching the engagement if the kid ain't his. This roller coaster's got a few more loops. Watch how they handle the next curve.
I'm at work and I have people coming up to me like, hey, your girlfriend was with this guy at this time.
What do people at work know about your business?
I publicly display my daughter, and everybody in our community pretty much knows Maria was with that other guy a long time.
But I was with him for 3 years and never got pregnant.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean it can't happen.
It's just like the time I get with him for about 2 to 3 weeks, I get pregnant, but yet me and you.
Ms. Quintero throws a curveball, accusing Mr. Johnson of only playing the not my kid card when he gets caught flirting. She's calling him out, saying he's got a convenient case of daddy doubt. The tension's thick. You won't want to miss what's tossed out next.
So usually he denies her when we're arguing. That's what I feel like. When we're arguing about him talking to other girls, so are you trying to just push it on me like, oh, she might not be mine because you just got caught talking to another girl?
Oh, Your Honor, it's not like that all the time. I've brought it up.
What is it like?
I brought it up plenty of times. There'll just be times I'm like holding her and I'm just like, man, you just don't look like me.
You're too pretty to be mine.
Finally, the moment of truth.
In the case of Johnson v. Quintero, when it comes to 8-month-old Camilla Johnson, Mr. Johnson, you are her father.
Ms. Webster steps up and drops a bombshell. She thinks Mr. Ware might actually be her dad. Talk about awkward family dinners. She's all in, hoping today's DNA results will spill the tea. Brace yourself because this family tree is about to get shaken up.
Ms. Webster, you recently learned shocking news that Myron Smith, the man you believe to be your dad and who paid child support for you, may not be your biological father. Now you've dragged the defendant, Mr. Ware, to paternity court to prove that he is your father and claim today's results will prove your case.
Ms. Webster gets suspicious thanks to some side comments and a few too many family resemblances. Maybe genetics do tell the truth? This revelation has her rethinking her whole life story, and just wait till you hear what she finds out next. This is gold.
Your Honor, I worked in a beauty salon with some of his relatives. They always kind of had something against me. I heard a relative say that that's not none of your father. I started questioning. I asked my mom, I talked to Mr. Smith, like, why are they saying that I'm not a part of their family? He said, you will always be my daughter. I believe in my heart that you are, and no matter what, you'll always be my daughter.
The plot thickens when Ms. Webster discovers she and the man who's supposed to be her dad don't even share the same blood type. Science comes into play, throwing a wrench into everything she knew. Buckle up, because the roller coaster is just taking off.
I still had doubts. I was a blood donor. We talked about blood types, and I know that the mother and the father of the child will have one or the other. Me and Mr. Smith don't have the same blood type. I was in question again. I'm very curious. I was with my cousin, Miss Smith, and she said, I really believe in my heart that Mr. Ware is your father. You chuckle like him. She said, if I close my eyes and you both chuckle, you wouldn't know the difference.
Here comes a curveball. Ms. Webster finds her supposed dad's family all over her baby book. If that doesn't scream family secrets, I don't know what does. The courtroom's about to get rocked with this one.
There was an address. They had the
relatives of Mr. Ware.
Yes, Your Honor.
Have signed into your baby book when you were born. So, Mr. Ware, you knew of this young woman.
Yes, I did.
But you do not believe you're her biological father.
No, I do not.
not, because at the time when her mom and I were dating, she was in between two cities, Louisville, Kentucky, and Dayton, Ohio.
Fasten your seatbelts. Ms. Webster goes to church, praying for divine signs about her daddy dilemma, and bam, Mr. Ware pops up right behind her. If that's not a sign, I don't know what is. This moment is packed with emotions, and it's not even the finale.
We went to visit him at his church. I knew who he was, but he didn't know who I was. And knowing who my father is one of them. And I came to the Lord. I went to the altar. They had altar call. And I went up and I just prayed that God give me a sign to reveal. So I'm praying and I'm nervous, but I just felt this energy. And when they asked for the prayer warriors to come out, when I got up, Mr. Ware was standing right behind me.
Mr. Smith steps into the courtroom, adding more spice to this paternity stew. He's been writing checks for child support, but doubts linger. Truth is just a DNA test away. Get ready for the big reveal.
You have been paying child support.
Yes, I have.
But you don't believe you're her biological father.
No, I don't. Miss Webster was born September the 17th, which means that she had to be conceived either late December or January. Right there, she was born September the 17th. Last time I was home on leave was late November. So in order for her to be born in September, she had to be conceived either late December or early January. I was in Fort Hood, Texas.
Ms. Brady, the mom, is up next, and she's sticking to her story that Mr. Smith is the daddy, despite him being hundreds of miles away when the magic needed to happen. What's coming up will definitely throw you for a loop.
Her biological father is Mr. Myron Smith.
He says he was gone. He was serving the time that she was conceived. Is that not true?
Right, but Mr. Smith also came home on leave. Once we got together, Mr. Smith went back to the service, and then I was pregnant. When Mr. Smith called me one day, I said, you know what? I'm pregnant.
Hold on to your popcorn.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Ware, you are not her father.
Did I look confused about that?
No, you look confused, period. And you look like you got a smart mouth. And you think you know too much, but what you should have known was to bring your butt to court. Then you wouldn't be here.
Thank you.
Now you can get smart with me if you want to. Dude, you're gonna lose every day of this week. So you're saying you set it out of spite?
I did, and it was wrong. To this day, I hate when women do that, especially when.
Then why'd you do it?
And Miss Jones,
because it felt good.
Listen,
But
you said it with the look on your face like it was the truth. I know, you know what? You're known to tell the truth.
And it did.
It just
She was trying to get the attention of other men.
How?
She was texting other men. She was going to see other men. She was using me like.
Using you for what?
Using me for a place. I
didn't need to live with you. I was living with my dad.
To get money.
Mr. Watson kicks things off with a bombshell. He's here to prove he's not the dad of a 4-year-old kiddo named Kevin. He's pretty sure one of the two other dudes Ms. Mahoney was hanging out with while he was away could be the father instead. Talk about starting with a bang.
Mr. Watson, you are in court to prove that you are not the biological father of the defendant's 4-year-old son, Kevin. You say that while you were away, Ms. Mahoney was having sexual relationship with 2 different men, and either of them could be the father.
Whoa there. Ms. Mahoney isn't messing around. She's almost certain, like 99% sure that Mr. Watson is indeed the daddy. He's brushing off those cheating claims like it's nothing. Her confidence is through the roof.
You say you are 99.999% sure that Mr. Watson is the father and denies accusations of infidelity.
All right, folks, strap in because Mr. Watson just dropped a major truth bomb. The results of today's DNA test could either make or break their engagement. If the kid ain't his, he might be hitting the road for good.
You say today's results will determine the future of your relationship.
I've known her since we were kids. We need to get these results because, you know, we are engaged and I would like to marry her, and I really hope this is my son.
And you say the relationship's on the line, meaning if the results don't turn out the way you would like, the relationship, the marriage, everything?
It's out the window, Your Honor. It's over with.
Really?
Pay attention here, because things take a serious turn. Ms. Mahoney talks about how all this daddy drama is really messing with little Kevin's head. He feels rejected, and it's breaking her heart. Sad stuff, really.
And Kevin's 4, so he understands this rejection.
Yeah, it takes him really hard. He's sheltered now.
And so, Mr. Watson, you are rejecting the child?
Yes, Your Honor. I'm not the dad, that's why. When I was away, when I came back, she was cheating, and she has a bad reputation of being basically, as I'm gonna say it, the neighborhood hoe.
Oh boy, it's getting spicy. Mr. Watson accuses Ms. Mahoney of playing house with 2 other guys who were supposedly showering her with gifts, but she claps back, saying they were just helping her out because she was broke. A classic, he said. She said.
She had 2 men staying with her, and they were showering her with gifts and taking taking care of her. Now, me as a man personally, I'm not gonna do that for no woman.
Being a man, though, you should have left me.
I never left.
Miss Mahoney, did you have 2 men living with you?
Yes, ma'am.
You did?
I had no job. I had nothing to fend for myself. They were close family friends, and they just wanted to help me help them.
And now for some real tea, the judge digs into rumors about another guy claiming he's the real dad. The plot's so thick you could cut it with a knife. This whole father versus dad debate is getting real intense.
Mahoney, why would a guy say to you?
I believe he probably does love me, but I don't love him, and I needed help, and all he wanted was a room, and that's all.
But why would he say you were having sex with him if you weren't?
Because he knows that if he were to tell him that he's gonna walk out and he's gonna leave me, and that's what happened, and I don't want that, and I don't want anybody else but heaven.
Just when you think it couldn't get any wilder, Mr. Watson admits to a little something with another woman, just so happens to be a key witness. Talk about stirring the pot.
Did you have sex with this friend, Mr.
Don't
Watson?
lie.
No, Your Honor, no, I did not.
Not sex. What did she do? Be honest, because this is our chance to clear our water and make our family either complete or separate.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman in any kind.
We've heard that before.
Right.
Was there sexual contact?
Yes, Your Honor.
So how can you not expect this woman?
Here it comes, the big reveal. Drum roll, please.
It has been determined by this court, Mr. Watson, you are the father.
See? I love you so much.
So, get this. Ms. Hanger claims Mr. Babbitt should cough up child support since there's already an order. She says he's dodging his dues for their daughter, Chloe, and there's no need for a paternity test. Watch as she lays down the law.
You claim the defendant has already been placed on child support for your daughter, Chloe, and therefore there is no reason to administer a paternity test. You've dragged him to court to order he pay the support he has been neglecting.
Buckle up. Here's Mr. Babbitt's comeback. He's calling for a DNA test. Dead sure he's not the dad, and he's got some receipts to prove it. Stay tuned, because he's about to drop some bombshells.
Mr. Babbitt, you petitioned the court to order a DNA test because you are 100% certain that you are not her child's father, claim to have proof to support your case. The court must decide if there is enough evidence to administer a paternity test.
Oh boy, things get spicy. Mr. Babbitt brushes off any likeness to Chloe as rubbish, leaving Ms. Hanger fuming over his denial. Grab your popcorn, because it's about to get even juicier.
She even looks like him when she's identical to him.
Ooh, just because you frame her up there and put her next to my family, that's not actually a DNA test. So
okay, you'll get it. Don't worry about it.
Mr. Babbitt, you say you're certain you're not.
All actuality, I mean, like, no, I don't believe it.
You're blind, dude. You're blind.
A medical professional at all giving me the opinion that you were pregnant would have been good too.
Let me understand this situation. I don't know how you two even ever had sex.
Mr. Babbitt thinks the child support papers on his porch are bogus. Claims it's all a setup and he's not buying it. What's next? Oh, you'll want to see this?
How did you end up on child support?
I defaulted, I suppose, as they say, because I didn't get served. They dropped papers off on my porch or my grandmother's porch.
No, I showed seen the paperwork from them. It's Jane Doe signed it, but that legally states that you've received this paperwork.
Or did you say that dropping the paperwork off, not talking to me?
No, they showed me the paperwork of somebody signing it.
So there was no coincidence that after you showed up on my porch.
I asked them.
Judge Lake dives into the paperwork, showing Mr. Babbitt owes $272.50 a month. But wait, he says he never got the memo. Confusion much. Things are about to clear up, or maybe not.
So this is paperwork, supposed to pay $272.50 per month in child support.
I actually never got the paper. Here's the paperwork that I got. It was to my restaurant, and it was stated, it says you're supposed to be paying child support for Chloe Hanger. Didn't give a middle name, didn't give a social security number. On the birthday panel.
They're not going to give you her social security
number.
Why,
if I'm the father?
You felt like it was like something fraudulent?
Well, yeah, if I would have got a letter that had it like postmarking on it.
You won't believe this. Mr. Babbitt basically ghosted the court, got him named as the dad by default. He missed the memo, literally. What's he gonna say to that? Keep watching.
And now you are responsible for child support.
They told me
because
son or daughter.
I'm sorry?
If it's my child, I will be. You're correct.
Well, no, you're responsible for it now because you were named the.
They gave him 30 days after he did not show up for this DNA test. They gave him 30 days to appeal it, and he never did.
I can still appeal it.
This has to do with the fact your failure to appear caused you to be named the father by default.
Judge Lake isn't having any of Mr. Babbitt's sass, telling him straight up he's messed up by ignoring the court. Oh, and it gets better. Check out what's coming.
Did I look confused about that?
No, you look confused, period. And you look like you got a smart mouth. And you think you know too much, but what you should have known was to bring your butt to court. Then you wouldn't be here.
Thank you.
Now you can get smart with me if you want to. Dude, you're gonna lose every day of this week. I'll give you a minute to get yourself together, because you're not gonna clown.
Ms. Hanger reminisces about their less dramatic days. Video games, music, and oops, a baby. It was all chill until it very much wasn't. Wonder what Mr. Babbitt has to say about those good old days.
How did this relationship begin? Was it committed? Were you also sleeping with other people?
I met him through my room. He'd hung out a couple of times, played video games, listened to music, all that stuff, and then everything went on from there.
So the bottom line is you two were intimate at some point.
Yes.
Did you use protection?
No, never.
All right.
And then there's the roommate drama. Mr. Babbitt thinks Ms. Hanger was also playing house with their roommate. Drama alert. What will the lie detector say?
So I had not slept with anybody else prior to him for a year with my ex-boyfriend.
Well, you were sneaking out in the middle of the night doing something.
I was not sneaking out anywhere. The only time I'd get out of bed is to go to the bathroom.
Yes, and you wouldn't come back for an hour.
And then she would climb out of the bed and not come back for an hour?
I mean, sometimes 30 or 40 minutes, but it's a long...
No.
And that's when you thought she was also with the roommate?
Mr. Babbitt throws another curveball. He doubts Ms. Hanger was ever pregnant after a nurse couldn't find a heartbeat. Oh, the suspense. What will the ultrasound reveal? Stay tuned for the next chapter of As the Heartbeat Tries to be Detected.
I went to the doctor's appointment with her to get the ultrasound done. We're sitting there, they're doing this ultrasound, and the nurse is sitting there, okay, we're gonna find that heartbeat. And then the nurse is kind of going over her stomach.
It wasn't an ultrasound, it was a fetal Doppler. Two different things.
Well, anyway, it's supposed to detect at 6 weeks and you're 7.5, and the nurse told me no.
Too early to probably tell.
No,
you were
she
supposed
did
to go
not.
to the next appointment and you took off to Florida.
Enter Mr. Babbitt's dad with a plot twist of his own, backing Ms. Hanger and claiming Chloe is totally their grandkid. Family ties or family lies? Let's find out.
You're Mr. Babbitt, Royce's father.
Correct.
And you're standing with the plaintiff.
Because Chloe is our granddaughter.
He'll take in anybody's kid.
And I've got a
You
picture
do
here.
believe that?
That's evidence. Yes, I truly believe that.
And you brought evidence?
This is my baby picture with Chloe.
This is a picture of
my baby picture.
Of your baby picture on the
Correct.
left
And
and
Chloe.
Chloe's baby picture on the right.
Oh snap, the lie detector test just threw in a wrench, showing Ms. Hanger might have been more than just roomies with the roommate. But don't jump to conclusions, there's more to this saga.
This lie detector test was issued. Did you have sexual intercourse with your roommate after March 2013? You said no. The lie detector indicated deception.
That can't be, no, something's not right with this. I swear on everything. I did not touch my roommate. That is on my daughter. That is on my family.
Finally, the DNA results are in.
It has been determined by this court, Mr. Royce Babbitt, you are her father.
I guess.
Buckle up, folks. Miss Jones and Miss Hernandez storm into the courtroom, each gunning to prove that Mr. Trevino is the daddy-o of their kiddos. They're not pulling any punch, and you can feel the tension crackling. Just wait, the tea's about to spill.
Ms. Jones and Ms. Hernandez, you are each here today to prove to a man that he is the father of your children. Now that man, Mr. Trevino, is waiting outside the courtroom, will join us shortly. Now, Ms. Jones, you say Mr. Trevino is denying your child, and you say it has a lot to do with Ms. Hernandez.
You won't believe this next part. Miss Jones throws shade, accusing Mr. Trevino of dodging daddy duties, all thanks to Miss Hernandez's influence. In struts Mr. Trevino right into the lion's den, hoping to clear the air. Keep watching, it's just getting juicy.
He's denied her back and forth. He says, I'm not the father, I am the father.
I'm not denying, I'm simply requesting the truth. My family and I have done a lot.
Keyword, your family. You are the father. Remember that. You have not been there.
So you're saying I haven't helped you?
Though you're claiming he's denying paternity.
He has several times, back and forth.
And that's your fault.
Talk about a plot twist. In the heat of the moment, Miss Jones drops a bomb admitting she once told Mr. Trevino he wasn't the father during a spat. The courtroom erupts into chaos, with both parties letting loose, forcing the judge to step in and calm the storm. Hang tight, more fireworks are on the way.
So you're saying you set it out of spite?
I did, and it was wrong. To this day, I hate when women do that, especially when
then why'd you do it?
And Ms. Jones,
because it felt good.
Listen,
But
you said it with the look on your face like it was the truth. I know, you know what? You're known to tell the truth.
And it did.
It just crushed you.
Let's get some order.
Oh boy, here we go again. The argument heats up as the ladies lay out Mr. Trevino's flaky father figure antics, questioning his commitment and consistency. The judge dives deep, trying to untangle this messy web, he said, she said. Stick around, the climax is up next.
Well, the truth is that she admitted that when she said it, it felt great.
It felt
But she said it out of spite. But in your mind, your doubt centers around.
I don't care how mad you are. You don't tell a man that he is not the daddy.
And I agree.
All right.
But it felt good.
I bent over backwards and worked hard to provide.
Work hard.
What do
I
you
bet
call
your
it?
back is in perfect condition because you worked so hard. Work, right?
things just got real. Judge Lake isn't having any of it and gives Miss Jones a reality check about her spiteful comments and their repercussions on Mr. Trevino's paternal instincts. This heart-to-heart is all about owning up and facing the music. Don't go anywhere. The truth bomb is about to drop.
Now, Ms. Jones, I have to say this to you. What you're not willing to do is accept the fact that your actions have a consequence. Now, when you get so angry at a man because he's not doing what you want him to do or what you need him to do, and you decide, I'm gonna hurt you, you then can't stand up here and act mad or be the victim because he then starts to act like the child isn't his.
Get ready for the big reveal. DNA test results are in, and guess what?
Mr. Trevino, you are her father.
Now, I need the help.
Buckle up, folks. This roller coaster is just getting started. At the beginning of the episode, the case of Lyde versus Ellis is introduced. Ms. Lyde claims that Mr. Ellis, the defendant, is her biological father, a claim he vehemently denies, attributing it to his certainty that Ms. Lyde's mother was unfaithful during their relationship. Strap in, because the drama's about to ramp up.
Ms. Lyde, you say that for 26 years you have known only one man, the defendant, Mr. Ellis, to be your biological father, and you're devastated that he is claiming you're not his.
Here comes the juicy bit. Mr. Ellis throws shade, doubting paternity because he's convinced Ms. Lyde's mom played the field. He spills the tea on their rocky romance, all soured by her alleged side dalliances. This guy's skepticism is off the charts. Just wait till you hear what's up next. Total soap opera vibes.
So you say that Ms. Lyde's mother was unfaithful during your 7-year relationship and that you are certain you are not Ms. Lyde's biological father. You are here to prove that in court and to clear your name.
Grab your tissues. It's sob story time. Ms. Lyde unpacks her suitcase of childhood woes, talking about growing up without Mr. Ellis and missing out on that daddy-daughter bond. It's got her all mixed up about who she really is. Oh boy, grab more popcorn because the plot's about to thicken.
I didn't really have a relationship with Mr. Ellis growing up. It was just me and my mom. I've been in and out of group homes, foster homes.
When you hear her talk about her life without you, the man she believes is her biological father, how does that make you feel?
I feel for her and all, but I'm not her father. Look bright as she is. I mean, I ain't no doctor or nothing, but I'm pretty sure two people this color ain't gonna make no baby this bright-skinned.
Wait, what? Plot twist alert. Mr. Ellis drops a bombshell about some old DNA supposedly proving he's not the daddy. But Ms. Lyde's heard a totally different version from her mom. Confusion is in the air, folks. Make sure you're sitting down for the incoming bombshell response.
When I was away, your mother took child support on me. They did the DNA test. I gave her the papers. They garnished my check.
Mr. Ellis, explain that. You had a DNA test already.
Yes, when I was away, her mother called child support on me. They came and took the DNA test.
You got the results back?
I got the results back. It was 99.9 that I wasn't the father. I showed her the paperwork.
Can you feel the suspense building? Things get really tangled when Ms. Lyde's mom, Ms. steps in and contradicts everything Mr. Ellis just said, claiming the DNA test actually gave him a thumbs up as the dad. The tension is palpable. Eyes on the screen, because the courtroom is about to turn up the heat.
Was there a DNA test performed?
This DNA test got was from her, juvenile court, but they never showed to court.
So the bottom line is a DNA test was performed, yes or no?
Yes.
What were the results?
They said in the court 99% yes.
That 99.9% that yes, he was Danielle's biological father.
Yes.
Did someone say drama? Emotions hit the roof as Ms. Lyde vents big time about being the tennis ball in her parents' messy game. She talks about how not having a dad messed with her head and love life. And folks, you'll need to see what's coming because when they spill the DNA tea, jaws will drop.
I feel like, because I'm a mom, and I feel like if you are old enough to, like what you guys went through was not my fault. And you guys should never have involved me in anything that you guys were going through. I will never put my kids through that. You guys should have settled this the right way, the appropriate way, not wait for it to see the outcome of it. This is the outcome of it.
And you're right, and that's why for years.
And here's the big reveal.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Ellis, you are the father.
Whoa! I knew it. Yes. Boom!
Brace yourselves, folks. Ms. Bauman steps up to the plate and spills the beans about dragging her daughter Kalina to court, trying to fix the web of lies about who her real daddy is. She's shooting for the moon, hoping to prove that the late Mr. James Stewart is the real McCoy. Hang tight, because Kalina's about to drop her 2 cents.
You've dragged your daughter Kalina to court to save your relationship. You admit after years of deception and confusion, you now must prove to her that her actual biological father is Mr. James Stewart, who passed away 18 years ago.
Hold on to your popcorn. Ms. Kalina Booman throws a curveball, saying her mom's roller coaster of paternity fibs has thrown their relationship for a loop. She's not buying her mom's latest plot twist, that Mr. Stewart is her pops. Buckle up, because this ride's about to get bumpier.
Ms. Kalina Bohm, you say your mother's paternity lies have jeopardized your relationship, and you don't believe her latest claim that Mr. Stewart is your father. Mr. Stewart, there's no way that your deceased father is Ms. Bowman's biological father, and want to clear his name in court today.
Here's where it gets juicy. Angela Booman dives deep into the messy ocean of their relationship. Confessing her fibs about Kalina's dad have really muddied the waters. He's on a mission to scrub clean her past mistakes and mend fences. Watch out for what's next. It's a doozy.
Over the years, I have lied to my daughter. For the past 4 years, it's become very hard on our relationship. I used to be real close to her. Now it feels like literally tore it completely apart. I need to prove to her that her father is James Stewart. When I first met Mr. Stewart, I met him at a company that I worked with, and we started working, became friends and everything real close. We became sexual. It got to where I found out there was somebody else.
Can you feel the tension? Kalina lays it all out, talking about how tricky it is to vibe with her mom because of all the secrets and lies about who her dad really is. She's spinning in circles, trying to figure out what's what. The saga continues, and you'll want to see what's thrown into the mix next.
It's been hard because the simple fact I don't know when she's lying or telling the truth anymore when it comes to my
And
life.
so she told you another man was your biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
So when did you find out that he was not?
I found out during the summer going into high school that he was not my father.
Grab your tissues. Kalina reminisces about the bombshell day she found out Mr. Watson wasn't her biological dad. Fact she uncovered by sneaking a peek at the paternity test results. Talk about a plot twist that could break your heart. Stay tuned. The truth unfolds even more in just a bit.
And I was confused because all these years you told me that Mr. Watson was my father. Then when we went to go take the test, when the test results finally came back after 2 weeks, I was nervous and didn't know what to think, and I read the results even though she told me not to. Why she lied to me for 16 years, I didn't know what to do, so I stopped talking to her for a month and a half.
Oh boy, here it comes. Angela drops a bombshell in the courtroom, admitting she made up a whole letter to keep Mr. Watson on the hook, thinking Kalina was his kid. Talk about a desperate move for love. The crowd's reaction to what happens next is priceless. You gotta see it.
I did it because I was actually in love with Mr. Watson, and it was, I wanted a child, this is my child. And I lost contact with Mr. Stewart, so I left it alone.
So you wanted him to think that Kalina was his child so that you could hold on to him. You cannot use a child to keep a man. It doesn't work. It never works.
No way, Jose. James Stewart steps into the spotlight, tossing cold water on the idea that there was ever a paternity test plan. He reminisces about his dad's upfront style and how growing up siblingless was a bummer, totally doubting Angela's sketchy tale. But wait, there's more. Stick around for the jaw-dropping reveal.
I was 13. My father told me everything. I ain't had a sibling in 28 years. 29 years. My baby brother got killed when he was 2. So I would have wanted a sibling all my life. My father would have told me that.
He didn't want to bring her out until the test was completely
He wouldn't
done.
hide the hell nothing from me. My father told me everything. That's why I can't believe it, because there's so many women that done did this, said that their kids was mine, and I had to grow up without a sibling. That hurts.
Oh boy, here we go. The case of Chirpis versus McQueen kicks off with some serious accusations flying around. Ms. Chirpis claims Mr. McQueen ditched their 9-month-old daughter, Aria, and bailed out of... She's pretty convinced the DNA test will slap him with a big old dad label and force him to stop dodging his daddy duties. Let's see how he wiggles out of this one.
Ms. Chirpez, you claim you and your grandmother have been given no choice but to drag the defendant into court today because you say he moved away and abandoned your 9-month-old daughter, Aria. You believe the DNA results will prove that he is her biological father, and you demand he stops running from his responsibilities.
Wait for it. Mr. McQueen fires back. He claims Ms. Chirp's wandering eye for other dude is why he hit the road. He's betting all his chips on the DNA test, showing that baby Aria's real pops is some other guy. Grab your popcorn, because this is just heating up.
Mr. McQueen, you claim that Ms. Chirpez's relationships with multiple other men is what drove you away, and you believe that today's results prove baby Aria's father is another man.
Get the tissues ready, folks. Ms. Chirpes lays it all out, telling us how Mr. McQueen's fatherly contributions have been, let's be honest, pretty pathetic. Like one measly box of diapers pathetic. She's all kinds of upset, thinking back to better days when he promised her the moon. Strap in, it's about to get bumpier.
He has bought her 1 box of diapers, like 2 things of wipes.
So she's 8 months old, 9 months old, pretty much nothing? And I can see that that really hurts you. You very angry about that?
Like he had promised.
And how was that?
Definitely not like this. I had moved out to go live with him, and we had actually planned on having her. Everything went downhill from there.
Here comes Mr. McQueen's side of the story. He admits, sure, he's brought over some diapers and wipes a couple of times. Basically, the bare minimum. Despite questioning Aria's paternity, he insists he's tried to step up in his own way. Next up, we dive deeper into the soap opera that is their relationship.
Have you done anything for this baby besides just these diapers?
The first day I met her, brought her diapers. Third time she let me see Aria, I also brought her diapers and wipes. The last time that I was trying to see her before I did leave the state of Michigan, I dropped off clothes and boxes of diapers and 3 packs of wipes to her grandmother.
And the plot thickens. We get a sneak peek into their rocky relationship, complete with cheating and trust issues. Mr. McQueen confesses to playing away, but suggests Ms. Chirpus might have been playing the field too. Oh boy, let's see how she handles that accusation.
I have doubts because I didn't have her full attention when we were together. She had more interested in getting other men's attention than mine.
So tell me, what was the nature of your relationship? Were you committed?
Yes, we were committed, yes.
You were boyfriend and girlfriend, Ms. Chirpus?
Yes.
Drama alert. Ms. Chirpus spills the beans on how she caught Mr. McQueen red-handed with another woman. She came home early one day to find a not-so-welcome guest. Talk about awkward. Wonder what's next in this wild ride.
Not necessarily set him up. I had told him I was going to my dad's for about 4 days. I had only went there for a few hours. And as soon as I pulled in the driveway, I just instantly knew. And he came to the window, looked out. I had told him to unlock my door. He had unlocked it, but stood in front of the door to where I couldn't open it all the way. And he's like, "You're gonna be mad." And I played dumb.
So you opened the door and someone was there?
Yep.
Oh, it's getting juicy now. Both sides throw accusations faster than a speeding bullet. Mr. McQueen thinks Ms. Chirpes has been too friendly with other guys. She fires back about his shady move. And just when you thought it couldn't get more tangled, enter Mr. Gerber.
That I didn't have her attention no more. She was trying to get the attention of other men.
How?
She was texting other men. She was going to see other men. She was using me, like...
Using you for what?
Using me for a place. I wouldn't
I didn't
give you
need to
money,
live with
so
you. I was
went
living
to
with my
another ex-boyfriend
dad.
to get money.
I could have stayed there.
To what? Put her in a worse one?
That was not the plan. It takes 2 to tango.
Hold the phone. Who's this now? Mr. Gerber steps into the courtroom, throwing another twist into the story. He admits to having a fling with Ms. Chirpus, but denies being baby Aria's dad. You won't believe what comes out next.
Did you have a sexual relationship with Ms. Chirpus?
At one point in time, yes.
And so how did you all meet?
Online.
And it quickly developed into a sexual relationship, or?
She was a single parent. It was kind of just getting to know each other to begin with.
How often were you intimate?
Not very often at all.
Do you think there's a chance that you could be Aria's biological father?
I do not.
And now, the moment we've all been waiting for. DNA results. Drum roll, please.
The biological father is Mr. McQueen.
See?